Hola, greetings. What is up? What is going on, guys? YouTube fam, Facebook group fam. So we're going to critique a sales video today. We're going to dive right into it. I'll let you know right before we start. At the end of this video, because we are limited on time, we're not going to go over the entire critique on Facebook, but I will have the entire critique on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, underneath this video, you'll have a chance to book a call with my team if you want me to do this for you and to jump into one of my programs, The Art of Sales or Agency in a Box. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, then you can go above and you'll be able to do the same thing, book a call with my vision team. So let's dive right into it. What we're going to do is critique a live sales call from someone here in the group. And then you guys can ask any questions that you'd like to. Give me 1 second here. So you guys can ask any questions that you'd like to. I'm just going to share my screen and we're going to start going over this video. Basically, it's a live recorded sales call. So you guys are going to be able to see exactly what is up. And if you guys can't see it, just let me know. I'm going to be monitoring the comments here on the side screen. Okay, let's do it. Hashtag live. You guys are on to expand the reach. I love helping everybody out, but you got to help me out. So hashtag live or hashtag replay, help us expand the reach to be able to get more people to see this video. Let me share my screen here. Due to lack of time, we're going to go straight into it. I got about 15 minutes in so far. So instead of waiting, we're just going to dissect it. We're at 15 minutes right now. Let me put that down here. So I'm going to start it from the beginning and let you guys see what this starts off like so you can get that feel. Drop a 1 in the comments if you can hear this right now.
Hi, Carly. Can you hear me?
Hi, I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. Yeah, just can't see you though.
Oh.
Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Drop a 1 in the comments. I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Oh, yeah, I think I have a piece of tape over that. Let's see.
Oh, okay, you're like me then.
Yeah. Well, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thanks, Carl. How'd your client meeting go?
Good. Thank you. Like I said,
All right, drop a 1 in the comments, guys. If you can hear me and like the post, help us expand the reach. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear this before we continue. You're just going to be staring at a screen with no words. So drop a 1. Let me know in the comments.
Super busy week, but I do apologize.
Thank you.
I didn't look at my calendar this morning before I booked that, and it's totally my fault, so I'm so sorry.
It's all good. I remember what it's like. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
All right, guys, so I'm going to break this down quickly. We're not going to go to the whole thing for the fact of I only have 40 minutes. So we're going to really break this 1-hour video down super fast because I've already watched some of it. So we're going to break it down fast. Right off the bat, what you're going to notice here.
There were times I accidentally double booked people for viewings and homes and geez.
You're right, it happens.
It does, yeah. And even worse when I was selling homes to builders and I double booked them to be in the display home with me at the exact same time. So.
Oh yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah. Oh geez, yeah. Talk about making a fool of yourself and they both turn up at the same time and they're standing looking at them.
All right, guys. So here's what you're noticing right now is, first of all, it's great to validate if somebody feels uncomfortable, do that and do it quickly. But what I'm going to tell you off the bat is what you're going to notice from the start all the way to 2 minutes and 15 seconds, I believe, it's all small talk. Super not necessary. People are hopping on these calls, especially if they're pre-qualified and have money to get answers that they want now. So you don't need to worry so much about all this extra small talk. It's one thing to build rapport, but we're going to dive into better ways to start this call here in a sec. I want you guys to hear the intro line, so this way we could change that up. And Christian, if you're watching this, then obviously, you know, Christian, I'm going to critique the whole video for you and put it on YouTube, so I'll get a full critique. But if you're watching this Facebook Live, then you're going to be able to see some of the edits that we could make here. So pay attention to the intro line.
What do you do, hey?
Right, what do you do?
Yeah, so tell me a little about your market and sort of what's going on there at the moment.
Okay, so that's where there was a trip up. Okay, so at the beginning of every call, I know a lot of people struggle with this specific thing. I'm going to bring my face up here so you can see me. I know a lot of people struggle with this specifically. Anytime that you ask this question or the intro line, it's going to basically set the precedent for the entire call. And we don't want to go in and have the small talk. Okay. They're not there for small talk. If they want friends, they can go to Tinder. Okay. We're not here to be their friend. Okay. Like that. We're here to be their friend in business. So we're here to get them the answers that they're looking for, not the answers we want to give them. Does that make sense? So instead of asking questions like, tell me about your market, or what are you looking for, or exactly, or have you done business with anyone in the past? What traffic sources are you buying from? These are all questions I used to use in the past before I was able to close deals in 1 and 2 calls for thousands of dollars a month on contracts. I'm going to tell you guys what I say now. Okay. So instead of saying something like, tell me about your market, we always open up with the exact same question every single time. I don't care what the call is, how qualified the call is, where you got the call from, what traffic source. I don't care. You open up with this line. What are you hoping to gain from this call? Okay, because right off the bat, what that does is set the precedent to whatever you were going to pitch them could go out the window. Okay, if they say, well, I'm hoping to just figure out what you guys do. Okay, tell me more about that. What are you hoping to gain from this call? Well, now see how they're going to expand on that answer, because you need to figure out whatever it is exactly that they want. Well, I'm hoping to figure out how you can generate leads different than the other guy. Okay, awesome. Anything else? Always end with anything else. Okay, and write it down. All right. So I'm coming down kind of hard on the video right now, but it's just because I'm critiquing and I take this seriously when I critique. So this is how I critique any videos, guys. It's not to shame. It's just because this is how I do this with my sales team. This is how I'm going to do this with anyone that I work with, even if it's a free video, which I charge thousands of dollars to do these, guys. So if you get the opportunity for me to critique your video for free, take full advantage of it. Surprised not a whole lot of people did. So when we go through this, guys, make sure you're asking anything else after every question to help expand and exhaust whatever that thought process is for them, because there's something that, gosh, I can't remember. He's a fucking amazing psychologist, but he said, what's on our mind now is the most important, but what's on our mind now is the less thought about. So basically that means that whatever we're thinking about right now is the most important thing to us, but we haven't had enough time to dissect it to find the relevance of importance, right? The root of where that thought originated. So we just know that's the most important thought to us right now. So what we want to do is help accelerate and expedite that thought process. And to do that, we have to be able to ask things like anything else. Okay. Similar to how your kids constantly ask you, if you have kids or your friends, where they say, come on, man, let's go to this party. No, man, I don't want to go. Well, why? Well, because of blah, blah, blah. No, but why, man? And then you're going to give them a different answer. Do you see how that keeps working? You're going to constantly give different answers until you get to the root of why. Okay. It's the same thing in sales, right? When you're doing this, because your friend's trying to sell you to go to a party, or your kids are trying to sell you to get the ice cream, or your boss is trying to sell you on or to go do this extra overtime. I don't know. But basically what you want to do is exhaust the thought process to get to the root of the actual answer. Okay. The same thing in bidding, right? If you're bidding on something to buy it at an auction, nobody starts with their ending bid. The same way nobody's initial thought is their original thought, like their rooted thought. So you want to say anything else. So let me go ahead and backpedal before we continue playing this video. Always start your call off with, what are you hoping to gain out of this call today? They're going to tell you and say, okay, great. Anything else? Before you say that, though, make sure that what they say is not something like, well, I'm hoping to find out what you want to learn today, or what you do. And you're going to say, okay, great. So you want to find out exactly what we do. That makes sense. Anything else? And make sure you keep asking, exhaust it, and find whatever the root of what they want to learn is. All right, go to the next thing. Here we go. If you guys are getting value out of this, drop a 1 in the comments. Guys, I'm going to deep dive the fuck out of this, and psychology might get kind of weird, but this is how I critique videos. So drop a 1 if you're getting value out of this right now.
About what was that? I'm sorry.
About the market there, Impulsive.
Yeah, so things are pretty hopping. So I'm like 45 miles away from Missoula, which is very, very hot right now. Yep. And then I'm very close to Flathead Lake, and so I go up and above all the way up to Glacier National Park. I'm sorry, can you see me now?
Yep, that's me.
Okay. There we go.
All right, so let's dive back into this. I just want to bring up a few key points here, okay? So a few key points is when you're in a meeting, guys. All right, let me show you this screen right now. When you're in a meeting, you want to make sure that your background, first of all, Chris has phenomenal energy, okay? You wouldn't know if you were to look at Chris right now and the way that he's presenting with this level of energy, you would just assume right off the bat that, man, this guy is in a good place, right? This guy has a great headspace. This guy seems confident, right? It's because of the smile, okay? All these things when you're on Zoom, I cannot begin to tell you the level of importance it is to have with your knowledge of neurolinguistics when you're on a sales call through Zoom. The same way when you're in person, okay? These behavioral analysis, these different things we do with our body, okay, they're going to help us influence who we are speaking to. Okay, you need to learn how to have control over that. So this way you could better navigate a conversation. It helps you it makes you look like the authority, and then it ends up allowing you to move that in the direction that's mutually beneficial for both of you, AKA closing the deal and working with each other. So when you're looking at this, guys, first thing you want to notice is you want to have the confidence, make sure you're smiling, make sure your eyes aren't super wide all the time and eyebrows up, because that's going to show a little bit too much eagerness. Okay, so Chris does a good job of not really doing that very often. The lighting, make sure you have lighting in the background. So Chris, first thing I would say is you don't have to have like this amazing plush pad that you live in or house or whatever. Nobody needs that. Like I do my videos from the corner of my room, not my room, but my office. And but you want to make sure that you have a light somewhere there. I have windows all around my office space. So I have a ton of natural light coming in. If you don't have natural light, then you need to make sure that you have some type of light. You can buy one of those phone lights and put it at the top of your computer screen. Do something to make it look like there's more light behind you, okay? Because it's gonna add not just professionalism, but energy, okay? Anytime that something feels and looks brighter, why do you think people live in Florida? Okay, people live in like these sunny areas because the sun, the light, the energy, okay? It's vibrant, it's electric. So you want to be able to have that because people buy when the emotion's high and they justify with logic. So you need to make sure that you are you're influencing that emotion as much as possible in the most positive manner possible. So you need to have better lighting. Also confidence, what you're going to notice that comes in a various of ways. The first thing is your posture, right? So anytime you're on a sales call, I don't care if you're in person, and it doesn't matter if you are over Zoom. Okay, it's a little bit easier on Zoom because you can control your space better, and AKA it helps you establish more of an authority, so you could have a wider look to yourself. You're taking up more space, which is a positive thing. But if you're here on Zoom, you make sure that at least your posture is steady, because posture exudes confidence, okay? If you're leaning back in your chair or your shoulders are straight up, it's going to show you have that level of confidence. And then also in the words that you use. So you want to make sure if you're stuttering or anything of that sense, that you're not doing that. And then also that you are not using words like basically and kind of and things of that nature. So let's keep going.
And then, yeah, travel up into Kalispell, and that market is actually pretty hopping right now. But I'm still kind of new to the game. I've only been doing it full time since August of last year.
Yep.
So I'm still kind of learning the ropes, and I don't want to do too much too fast because I don't have some longevity here. So I feel like I have 3 new listings this month and 5 closings, and I had 5 last month, and that's like, I feel good with that. Like I'm almost like I'm hesitant to take on more because, like I said, I just want to make sure that I'm building a good brand for myself around here. And it is kind of a small area, and so I think it's really important to do it the right way.
Yes, I totally agree, and really you should applaud yourself with a first full year agent to be doing that well. Honestly, particularly in a market that obviously.
Okay, I'm gonna draw this right now. So what you notice off the bat, first of all, kudos to you, Chris, for knowing that you need to agree, acknowledge, and recognize. Okay, this is going to help you be able to lower that barrier of entry, further build the rapport, and give you permission to ask the harder questions. Okay, a lot of people are just right off the bat like, well, why? and you have not earned the right yet to dig. But whenever you can get them on your side and level the playing field by agreeing, acknowledging, and recognizing, the recognizing being the compliment, like I applaud you, love that line. I used to use that line all the time, still do. But anyway, doing that process is going to lower the barrier of entry, level the playing field, and give you permission to ask the harder questions. So I applaud you for that. But the next thing here, you notice, guys, that he went straight into it, starting to talk about the market, starting to talk about other things, when in reality, we have no idea what this girl wants, right? So right off the bat, what you want to ask is, oh, after you do the agree, acknowledge, and recognize, you want to say, can you tell me more about that? Why? Like 3 to 5 houses, that's great, but why? Okay. What do you want? What do you want exactly? And if we would have asked the initial question at the start of the call, what are you hoping to gain from this? We would probably already have a better idea of that. But since we didn't, we want to make sure here in this part of the process, you always, anytime somebody says something like that, because a lot of the time, if you're in sales and you hear someone say that, the first thing that you're going to think to yourself is this. Okay. The first thing you're going to think is this: crap, they don't want to grow their business. I'm here to help them do that through marketing. So you're immediately going to think to yourself, crap, this isn't going to be a good call. All right. Well, I'm telling you right now, guys, that this is still a hot call. We just have to figure out what she wants. Because according to her right now, she doesn't want to grow by a lot. She thinks she's okay with doing 3 to 5 a month. Okay. 3 to 5 houses a month. So tell me about that. What does that do for you? What level of impact has that had on your life? Why not stay the same? That question gets them every time. So why not stay the same? Okay. If you ask somebody that, they're going to be like, oh shit. They're immediately going to come at you with all the right answers that you need. And now you have direction. So now you know where to take the call with that level of emotion, right? Because you know where that is at. All right. There's some techniques. I'm not going to get super in depth to this right now, but this is also another part of neurolinguistics where you can learn how to use techniques such as anchoring. And if you can anchor and you can figure out what they're feeling now and what the best feeling was in their life and what they're trying to obtain, you could then make them, or not make them, get them to tell you more about what that feeling was like. And then whatever that was, you can get them to relive that great experience. And then you could do something called anchoring, to where you can get them to lean in on that emotion. And if you can harness that emotion of the best experience in their life or why they want this new thing, right? Because they love that feeling of the old thing and they want the next level of that. You could then harness that emotion and then run with it. Okay, you can run with that emotion that they gave you, but you need to know how to anchor. Okay, it's a neurolinguistic technique, a behavior analysis technique, but we're not going to dive into that so much right now. Let's keep doing the video. If you guys are still getting value out of this, drop a 99 in the comments. I know I'm going super in depth with how I analyze conversation, but this is why I close deals so quickly. So drop a 99 in the chat if you are getting value out of this. Let's go back to the video.
It's probably small city. Would probably be the way to describe, where everyone knows everyone, I'm sure.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we have realtor caravans. We had those yesterday. And, there's like 20 realtors that go from each house. And we saw the lakefront ones yesterday. And, you get to know people for sure, which I like. I am in this to help people. I was managing a team at a software company before I decided to jump into real estate. And I loved that job for different reasons. But this one, I mean, you really are like upfront and close with helping people. And I really, I love that. So.
And it's often the biggest purchase people will make too, so it's an important one. It can be scary,
Too much small talk. Too much small talk. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Too much small talk. All right, they don't care. They're not looking for another friend. They're not looking for a relationship. They're looking for a friend in business that's going to give it to them straight and give them all the answers. Too much small talk.
Do you deal much with first home buyers, or is it second homes?
Yep. Well, I've done both. So that's another thing that I'm trying to do is hit kind of all different areas here. I haven't done any farm and ranch or agricultural type. And also I haven't done any commercial. And I'm not going to delve into that until I have more time on my hands and I really feel like I have my feet underneath me with the land and residential. But I've been marketing to some investors, and I have a couple of other big companies that I work with, and I've gotten quite a few of those lately, and so I have like maybe 4 second homes, and then I've also done like 3 different first-time home buyer deals, and then yeah, just a lot of residential and land ones in between. So
yeah. I had a look at some of the listings in the area, and there's definitely like a very good range. So you've really got a lot of different price pointed areas.
yeah.
And really, again,
All right, so here's what I'll say, guys. It's really important to have good information on your niche. All right, Chris has great information on his niche. It's not his first rodeo. He gets this space, but you don't want to just continue to spout that information, that knowledge. You only want to drip it out whenever it's necessary. Okay, there's such things as talking yourself out of the sale. The reason why we do so well with consultative sales is because we know how to listen like a pro. Okay, we listen ourselves into the money. We listen ourselves into the sale. All right, we do not talk our way into the sale. If you continue to do that, you will talk yourself out of the sale. It gives you more of an opportunity to say something they don't want to hear. All right, that's why we listen ourselves into it. When she's saying things like this, like I haven't had time to do this, I would like to do this. Why? Just say why. Like, why not just keep doing what you're doing? Like, why do you want to do the other stuff? And then they will tell you. And whatever direction they tell, whatever information they give you, you run in that direction, because now you have all the right answers to the test. Okay, there is no more multiple choice. There's one answer, you pick it, and you're right. All right, that's how you score 100%. All right, so what we're gonna do, guys, because I have 20 minutes and I want to answer questions, we're gonna dive to the end of the call and we're gonna take a look at that, which I haven't actually evaluated yet. So let's go down to 50 minutes.
What's best for your particular situation? It's very tailorable within the parameters of the template that we have.
Okay, so here's the next thing I'm going to say. I haven't even evaluated this part of the video yet, but what I'm going to tell you right now, right off the bat, is that you need to pay attention to their face. Okay, pay attention to their face. All right, you need to know what they're thinking through their face. Okay, if they're looking at this and they're either smirking, smiling, they're kind of looking around the room, their like eyes are closing, they're biting their lip, which some people might think from a sexual standpoint is a good thing, but there's a lot of time where biting a lip is actually a retreat. So you need to understand what your situation is, because it varies based on situation with these different reactions, facial expressions. So and this is a different form of NLP, but you want to be able to see what they're thinking through their facial expressions. It's the closest thing to mind reading, because once you can see it, you can address it. Hey, I kind of noticed that you're knee deep in thought with this, right? Tell me about that. What part of this process has those gears turning up there? Because I can see it in your face. All right, address it. Address the elephant in the room. That's what differentiates a good salesperson from somebody that's still learning. Okay, a good salesperson will just put it out there. Hey, I can kind of notice that the gears are turning up there. What's happening? What's happening up there? Tell me about it. All right, I showed you this thing and I couldn't help but notice the different facial expressions that you had whenever I showed it to you. Tell me about that. Like, what's up there? What's going on up there? All right. So if you do things like this, not only does it make you different, they've never heard a salesperson talk like this, but it's also going to help give you clarity on their thought track. Because if it's negative, you need to derail it. Okay. Derail the thought track, their thought track, and get them on the right track. Okay. Because you're able to, again, re-navigate and reframe their mindset. Okay. This goes into our inception selling process that Temple Naylor and I created. But an inception selling process is where we're able to incept a new belief and reframe their current belief into something more positive that's going to navigate them towards a decision that's best for them, which is AKA working with us, paying us money so we can service whatever need they have. So let's keep going.
And you would help me. I mean, I know that we click on the options. You to set up that kind of automatic bot response. But then one needs to respond to each one individually, right?
Yep. Well, see, this is the thing that you might not have considered as well. Some of the cost, right, for running ads, you can actually pass on to your clients, right? It can become a
Okay, here's the next thing I'll say. You never want to use words that will belittle the customer, even if they may not seem like anything significant. So what you heard there was, you may not have considered, but, right? It's okay to bring that up. And the idea, actually, I'm going to take that back. Don't ever bring up a fucking idea to the customer, ever. Okay, you can say things, and the reason why you don't want to, because now they're like, oh wow, another money-making opportunity. Let me get back to you. Let me think about that. Let me ask my neighbor. Let me ask the spaceman or whatever. I don't know. They go ask somebody else because now they want to get information on the thing you just said. Do not give them new ideas. Okay, sell them what they want and give them what they need. But in order to give them what they need, you need to sell them what they want, and you can't do that until you understand how to move with their thinking. Okay, we do this verbal jujitsu, verbal hapkido, to where we do not try to force our words and thoughts on someone. We take their words and thoughts and move with them. So this way we can get to the end result that's mutually beneficial and close the deal. So this way we can sell them what they want and give them what they need. Okay, so never put any new ideas in their head. Just let them exhaust what they currently know and add one more thing that expands on what they know. Don't give them new ideas. Drop me a 100 if that makes sense, guys. Do not give the customer new ideas, okay? We are not trying to confuse them. Confused buyer always says no.
To your sellers, oh, by the way, I'm now running ads on Facebook. For the sake of an additional $150 on your advertising package, we can get you a huge amount of exposure, move your house quicker.
I do that, but I do think that I need to my clients, like I would be happy to pay for it.
Yeah. But you see what I mean? Like
I do.
Yeah.
And then, I feel like opportunities present themselves for everything. And I feel like this would be an amazing opportunity for me, and I get really excited about the potential. Like you said, I just want to make sure that I give my child which is my time. And so I just get so, I just don't know what the right move is yet. But I do think that this would be really amazing for me and my family, and I know that I can do that. I just don't know if this is that point.
So my honest opinion on where I think you'll end up falling, sort of volume range, I seriously doubt that you'll end up in the 198 in stick state.
Okay. So here's where let's break this down right now. So right off the bat, she still doesn't know what she wants to do. Okay. By this point in the call, if you're on the call with someone for an hour, they should just be wanting to say, how much do I need to pay you to do this? What are your prices? Okay. They should be giving you buying signs. But then also the next thing that happens, so instead of doing what Chris did so well earlier in the call, right, where he agreed, acknowledged, and recognized, which he should have done there, right? First of all, the customer should never say that this late in the call, but if they do, that's how you address it initially, because it helps to, again, level the playing field, give you permission to ask the harder questions. But whenever he responded, it was, can I tell you where you're going to land? Like, we're not going to do that assumptive. Okay. You want to reframe it to be able to get them excited still. Here's the deal. Totally understand. I want to let you know something. I'm really excited for you. Okay. And you guys notice how when I said that, it's the tonality of it. It's the delivery of it. Okay. It's like a comedian. Okay. One person can tell a joke. The comedian can tell a joke, but only the comedian's funny. It's because of how he delivered the presentation. All right. So it's the same thing here. If you want to say things like, can I just tell you something? I'm excited for you. All right. I just want to tell you I'm excited for you. Can I tell you why? So you guys notice the space I had in between how I composed that entire sentence. You want to do that to be able to re-engage them. Okay. Using words like excited or simple. Like, these are words that just re-engage a customer's emotion. All right. It's not that you're trying to sell them. You're trying to get their positive emotion back Because remember, people buy on emotion when the emotion's high, and they justify with logic. All right, so you need to have that emotional piece. And that also depends if they're left brain or right brain, which comes to me like using humor to defuse situations or to be able to derail their thought process. I like to use humor because if they don't laugh, you'll know if you can keep using jokes. If they don't laugh at all, you want to try to start selling more with logic, okay, because they're more left-brained. So this is going to help you analyze that a little bit, because even if your joke sucks, because most of mine do, most of them are like dad jokes, even if your joke sucks, somebody that's right-brained is still going to indulge that bad humor and like at least smile a little bit. They might not laugh out loud, but they're like, you know, they'll like smile a little bit. So that means you can be a little bit more fun on the call. If they don't at all and they're just serious, then you know now that they're a little bit more left brain more than likely, and you can approach the call differently. Okay, use more things like case studies and numbers and reverse engineering KPIs, the stuff that makes them feel confident in what they're doing. But in this case, awesome, Chris, what's up, man? Chris just hopped on the call. Very nice, Chris. We didn't go through the whole video because I don't have a lot of time, but I went through the first 10 minutes or so, and we're evaluating the last 10 minutes. So anyway, when it comes down to this, you never want at the end to say anything negative in the sense of doubt. Okay. You never want to say, I highly doubt that you'll see this number. Okay. You want to say things like, the likelihood of this happening may not be entirely in your favor, but that's a major positive for your current situation. Can I tell you why? So do you guys see how I rephrased that? I said the same thing, but this is called being strategically vague. Okay, if you can learn how to be strategically vague, and I learned how to do this really well in the corporate world. If you're in politics, you do this very well. When you learn how to be strategically vague, when you speak to someone, it's giving them what they want and then later giving them what they need. Okay, you're telling them what they need to hear because you know you have the right solution to be able to help move the needle forward in them and whatever their problem is. You could say, you know, as a salesperson, you can safely take them from their pain to their destination safely. Okay. That's why when you learn how to sell like this, guys, it's so important to use ethics, because you can sell anyone on anything. So it's very important to have ethics behind what you do, because if your product's not right for them, don't do this. But anyway, that's how you move this conversation forward the right way, without using any negative words that could incept the mindset of this isn't right for me. Okay, we're gonna keep going.
Range. I doubt it. And the reason I say that is the population base around it. Yeah, this was in Lip.
Okay, diving back to the neurolinguistics. What I want to show you guys, I freeze the frame here. Look at her face now, and then watch what happens here. Watch what she does with her head.
In Portugal, which shows millions of people.
So did you see how she's moving her head up and down, going, yeah, and she keeps going, and making that sound and going, nodding. That's not good. Okay, it's not good. That means she has immediately retreated. Okay, there's certain behavior analysis to pay attention to know when somebody's retreating. Okay, she's gone from the conversation now when you notice this happening. So you want to be able to use disruptive frames or disruptive statements to reframe the situation. So this is whenever you say something along the lines of, just tell me what it is. And they'll be like, what? So immediately they're just like, what? What is this guy talking about? Because now this is completely off topic. So now they're not on any rail. They're right in the middle now. Okay, so this is your opportunity to either lose the sale completely and they completely retreat, or to get the sale back on track. Boom. I couldn't help but notice at this point that you seem to be a little bit done with the conversation. No, I'm kidding. I don't say that. That would be horrible. But you just want to acknowledge what they're doing. I couldn't help but notice right now that it looks like you're kind of dealing with the situation a little bit differently at this point in the conversation. Is there something else that came to mind that you want to expand on, or something else that maybe didn't make as much sense. I mean, you want to be able to get the conversation back on track. Anytime you see them nodding their head like this, they're retreating from the conversation. All right, let's keep going into it.
In the greater who's there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. And, you know, I do think that I could handle it, and I can also think about it, and now that he's 2, you know, it's different. It's not like he's a baby. He doesn't need my time and attention, and, you know, I need to pick him up separate. Like,
Now, I know I keep pausing it, guys, but it's because I pay attention to every single little word when somebody's talking to me. And when people use words like I think or I guess, like if you notice here, she said, I guess, these aren't definites. So anytime that we hear that, let them finish their thought, let them finish what they're saying, but then circle back to whatever they only guessed on or thought about. And then you want to be able to get a definite answer and solidify something from them and get them to say it. Because if they don't say it, it's not real. Okay? Even if it's true, it's not real. All right? It needs to come out of their mouth to be real. If people think that the sky is green and the grass is blue, you cannot tell them you're wrong. Okay? Nobody wants to be talked to or told. They want to be spoken with and guided. Okay? Because nobody likes to feel backed into a corner or pressured. So when somebody says things like I guess or I think or any of these inconsistencies, then you want to be able to create a definite. All right, get them to say, you know what? Yeah, this wouldn't work for me. Because if they're going to say no, make sure they say no. I know a lot of people at the beginning of sales calls like to say, hey, at the end of this, if you don't like it, I just want a yes or no. Can we agree to that? I don't like to use that line because I still feel like it's very salesy. But what I do throughout the call is I create definites. Okay? I create small micro commitments throughout the entire call, and these definites allow me to have the ammunition at the very end of the call to be able to, because I write things down whenever I talk to a customer, I can bring them back up and say, look, this is what you told me earlier in the call. You seemed confident in that. Okay? Is that still true? Just don't say anything else. Okay? Nobody's going to be a liar. All right. Now, there's different ways to know if the customer's lying to you. I hate that word lying. It seems a little aggressive, but there are different ways to know if the customer is being more distrustful. So that's prolonging the conversation from moving forward. We're not going to get into those behavioral analysis techniques right now, but there are different ways to do that. We're going to keep going on this call because I only have a couple minutes. Actually, we're not going to finish the rest of this call because I just realized I only have 5 minutes. I want to answer questions. So let me come over here. So guys, go ahead and ask any questions that you have. I have 5 minutes before I have to hop on a call with my team. We got through quite a bit of this. So ask me any questions right now, and let's go ahead and answer them. This is your opportunity to have all those questions answered. Okay. So what kind of questions do you guys have for me? What else we got, guys? Whatever questions you have, ask them now. If you guys want to book a call with my team and to be able to have me mentor you and evaluate these calls for you on a regular basis to be able to increase your closing percentage and make you more money, then you can book a call with my team. It's in the link above. What questions you guys have for me right now? Because I'm trying to answer them, guys. What do we got here? Ask any questions. Best NLP book for sales. It's NLP, not NPL. I don't really have a best book. It's been a while since I've done a book. I actually went to Sandler sales training years ago, 5 years ago, to learn this stuff. Do you feel like sending a VSL to a personal injury client is the right play? First of all, if you watch, Travis, if you watched my video yesterday, yes, you want to be able to send that VSL in between you discovering what they need and then you going into the appointment. That's always the in between. Rob, replay going to be posted. I missed this one. What is the best external questions that you can ask to get the client back on track? I like to just disrupt it and say things like, oh, hold on, Chris. She actually said she wanted to buy at the end, but I'm still trying to get her to commit. So she said she wants to buy. That means that she didn't buy, and that's our job to acknowledge that. If she didn't buy, then it's our job to acknowledge that she didn't buy. Okay. So just know, figure out all the reasons. When we do these debriefs, especially if you have me mentor you personally, regularly for a year, or even for 90 days, you're going to notice that you need to acknowledge that you didn't close the deal. Like I do this all the time. If I don't close the deal, I go to my like people that I work with and I say, what the fuck happened? All right. I had this sale. What was the one thing I said, or how did I say it that made me lose it? Okay. So in this particular scenario, you should have collected the payment over the phone if she was ready to buy. We always like to do that unless she has someone else she had to confide in. If that was her husband, there's a different way to handle those things. What is a different way to reframe and get them on track? Hey, I couldn't help but notice that the gears are turning up there. Let's talk about it. They're going to be like, what? Yeah, the way that you viewed what I just showed you, I couldn't help but notice, right? Sorry, I'm a little bit like, I like to make sure that we're all on the same page. I couldn't help but notice that you kind of react a little bit differently to this, as most people do. It's okay. I'm just curious, like, what were you thinking? Right? So you get them to explain it more. Should I not have it on the application page I send them on LinkedIn? Travis, if you do it that way, that's fine. I know that Temple Naylor handles all of our LinkedIn, so he usually likes to have conversation with them first and then sends them the VSL, but you could absolutely do it that way. You'll probably have better traction if you're sending them messages first and then the VSL before the appointment. If someone is more left-brained and on a negative, somebody's more left-brained and on a negative logical thought track, what tactic do you use to derail that train of thought? So if someone is more left-brained, you want to start talking more about the KPIs. I do this a lot. If you look on my YouTube video where I close e-commerce stores, I talk about this a lot whenever I break down KPIs. I like to say, let's talk about it. All right. I couldn't help but notice that right now your cost per sale is this, or this is what you'd like your cost per sale to be. You've currently been running advertising. So if you want your cost per sale to be this, and this is how much it's costing you for traffic, this is how much you need to spend with me. And right now, this is what it's costing you. Okay. So I break all these numbers down for them. Realistically, you spending $2,000 a month with me is not going to get you to where you want to go. Does that make sense now? And then they're always like, holy shit balls. Like they've never broken their numbers down like that. So left brain people love that shit. She's a single mom. The issue with her is increased workload, taking away from time with her kids. That's what keeps her coming back. Okay, so that's the problem right there, was never addressed. If the issue, and we talked about this at the beginning of the call, right? But if the issue is her increased workload, then why is she on the call with you? She knows that you do marketing, right? She knows that you're there to help her get more leads. And realistically, getting more leads is probably going to increase her workload. So why is she on the call? And I know, Chris, you hopped on late, but the first thing you want to say, instead of tell me more about your market or tell me about your market, you always want to start the call off with, what are you hoping to gain from this call? What are you hoping to gain out of this call? Because she'll tell you. She'll tell you what it is. Because if she brings up, well, I want to get more leads to drive more houses. Okay, awesome. What would stop you from servicing all that additional work? Like, why do you want to do that specifically? So before you make the assumption of asking that second question, after she answers, just say, well, tell me more about that. Why? You want more work? Why not just continue doing what you're doing now? She's like, well, because I want to make more money. Okay, awesome. So I'm assuming, right, it might be wrong for me to assume you can handle the extra volume, the extra workload. And that's when she'll probably come in and saying, yeah, I could hire an assistant. Okay, cool. So if you like what you see at the end of this and know that this is the right tool for you, you're prepared to hire an assistant. Is that what I'm hearing? You never make the assumptive and a question and it puts the ball back in their court, because that should never be a problem. Like if she is with her kid, maybe she could focus on higher income houses. Because I had listened to some of the call and she was focusing on houses between $289,000, $350,000. What's stopping her from selling a $500,000 house and working half the time, making the same amount of money? What's stopping her from doubling that and selling $1 million homes and working less and making more? If she had a tool to get her there safely, if I could become the catalyst for that, if I was that vehicle and I could show you how, would you be prepared to move forward today? Yeah, I heard her with the assistant but she joked about it. She's like, oh, I'd have to hire an assistant. Ha. Are you prepared to do that? It's funny, right? Because right now we laugh about something that we believe is out of reach. But if I provide you with the tool, are you prepared to move on that today? You see how we're getting micro commitments? Yeah, I would be prepared. Okay, awesome. So I just want to make sure I heard you right. You're ready to do this if it's the right tool, and promise me only if it's the right tool. And then that's whenever you're going to start getting the truth, the micro commitments. Because one thing for her to say it, it's another thing for her to commit to something afterwards. Okay? It's like, man, I hate that there's hungry people out there in the world. Like, I really wish I could end world hunger. I want to end world hunger. Okay, cool. What are you going to do about it? Are you ready to start investing 30% of your paycheck every month if you knew that could make a dramatic impact helping one of these shelters to help end world hunger? Are you prepared to do that at the end of this conversation? How serious are you? Yeah, I brought that up. That could position in a higher price point. But you need to, it's one thing to bring something up. It's another thing to get a commitment. Big difference. Hey, if I could put you in a higher price point to generate these houses, right? Is that something you would want to do? Like, that's not getting a commitment. If there was an opportunity right now, yeah, Temple, I'll be on in a sec. If there was an opportunity right now to be able to get only higher ticket homes, right? Let's say $500,000 to $1 million homes. Are you ready to be able to handle that? What does stop you from doing that? If we had a tool that could make that happen, are you ready to make a move on that today? And make sure you put the word today in there, because I don't give two flying shits if they want to do this next month. That doesn't change anything. There's a major disservice to wait. Okay. I have 2 kids. Me personally, I have 2 kids, and my goal is to work less and make more money. So I'm paying people a lot of money, right, in order to make that a reality for me. Okay. Other people will do that too. If you have to pay more in order to have what you want, is that a reality that you're willing to live in? Let them give you those micro commitments. Because if they do not say yes to those, they will not do it. Okay? That Lamborghini, do you think people just walk into a store? Like, very rarely will people walk into a store or car dealership of any kind, not just a Lamborghini, but maybe like a Mercedes or something like that. They're not going to buy that vehicle just because they liked it off the bat. If you want to get them to buy it right off the bat, you need to be able to anchor whatever pain made them want that vehicle in the first place, whatever gain made them want that vehicle in the first place. And you need to constantly bring up that pain to them and anchor that emotion to be able to run with that emotion. Okay. It's kind of it's a major influencing tactic. But anytime you can get someone to anchor those emotions, you can bring those same emotions back up. So yeah, always get the micro commitment. I do not care if somebody says, yeah, man, this sounds like the perfect fit for me. Like, this definitely sounds like something I need to do. I know I need to do it. Awesome. How long do you want to continue staying in the same position that you're in? Do you believe, because I heard you say it, you do believe that this is a tool for you to take you from where you're at now to, and then I list off whatever their destination is so I could anchor the emotion, right? To make them re-feel whatever they were feeling so I could get them back there, right? Because people buy on emotion and justify on logic. They've already justified with me it's the right thing. They already know it's the right thing. They make the money back, etc. So now I need to make sure the emotion's high, and then boom, going for the close. Let's do it today. I'm going to challenge you to get started today, because you and I both know it's the right thing to do. And based on what you want, you already know it's the right tool, right? All right, I'm going to challenge you to get started today. What's your credit card number? Take it over the phone. All right, we're going to do this today because we both know it's the right thing to do for you, right? So I'm going to challenge you to get started today. I love that. It's one of my favorite new closing lines that I've been using, and it's awesome. But it's true, because it is a major disservice if you have the vehicle to get them from their pain to their destination. So anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful. You can watch the replay in the Facebook group. Later today, we're going to be interviewing Joel Irway. So he's a boss with the mini webinar system. So we're going to interview him and talk more about that. But I hope you guys like this. In fact, drop a 22 in the comments if you guys loved this video. Like, if you guys really like this video, drop a 22 in the comments right now. and let me know. And then like the video, guys. We have a few dozen people on here. Like the video, expand the reach. I like to dive into a lot of the stuff people don't talk about on these calls, right? A lot of people don't talk about in sales because so many people are focused on what's the right word to say rather than, are you able to pay attention to what that person's doing? Can you see their tonality? Can you deliver the tonality? Okay. Can you deliver all of these little nuances that people never recognize to be able to completely navigate the conversation and create this mutual beneficial outcome? Okay. There's something I tell everybody all the time before they buy from me. Okay. I tell my customers too, nothing changes until a transaction takes place. This is going to be uncomfortable for you. You're going to have to pull out your credit card. You're going to spend more money with me than you spent with anybody else. I promise. But at the end of the day, what I know is based on what I've been able to do and based on what you told me that you need, this is the right decision for you. So I want to challenge you to get started today. Cool. Hope that was helpful, guys. Take some of these words, use them for your own. Make sure that you use this ethically and make sure you're always selling the right thing for the customer. If you want me to do this for you on a regular basis, book a vision call with my team in the description above on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, do it down below in the descriptions. Adios, guys.